Hello everyone, welcome to Celestial Plans. My name is Crystal Cedar, and I'm going to call this kind of like an extension to my weekly plan with me. This week, pagans celebrate the holiday period of Yule. Woo, 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 woo. Blessed Yule, everybody. And it is 12 days of usually celebrating a lot of mulled wine, a lot of spiced cider, and very cozy things that are related to the winter solstice, the celebrating of the coziness of cold and spending time with loved ones. But this year, my ancestors, guides, and guardians recommended that I do something a little bit more on the devotional side. I practice a more indigenous, shamanic, and priestess aspect of paganism. So it is very different than Wicca. It is very different than some other witchy kind of disciplines. But the similar thing is that I still observe all of the Sabbats and the Esbats. And I usually take those periods of time, like the solstices and the equinoxes, to develop and practice rituals that are very important, sometimes for my own personal spiritual growth, or sometimes as an offering to the ancestors, guides, and guardians that help us every single day, especially in my own spiritual work and my energy work. So this year, my ancestors called me to work on the Norse side. And what I thought I would do for Yule is 12 days of a devotional series where I'm working with the 12 goddesses, the 12 handmaiden goddesses of the goddess Frigg. And when I started my witchy path when I was in high school, I was drawn to the Norse side, especially because when I was very young, I knew runes right away. I picked up runes really quickly, but when you're an indoctrinated Catholic child, it's not really looked on very well. So I put the runes down, and then as soon as I was old enough to choose my own faith, I definitely returned back to my paganism and reconnected again with the runes. But most of it was on the divine masculine aspect, or the masculine aspect of the runes. And now I want to work more with the divine feminine. I've never done this before. And so what I did was I took a sheet of the Happy Planner Christmas extension pack, and I used the pages that you would, I think this is for Christmas card addresses. I don't really send out that many Christmas cards, and there were tons of pages, and I like promise I think I've pretty much bought every single Christmas extension pack from the Happy Planners since they started releasing them. So I have a lot. I've got a couple of these boxes. And so what I did was I wrote out the 12 handmaidens of Frigg. And I actually kind of messed up. Frigg was supposed to be down here, but it makes sense that she would be on the top of the page. So I have one goddess that I'm going to be meditating on for every single night of Yule until the last night of Yule, where I'm going to be working with and meeting the goddess Eir. I wrote out their names with their regular spelling, and then I wrote out the phonetic pronunciation of each one so that I don't disrespect them when I'm going through my meditation with them daily. And each one of these goddesses, these handmaiden goddesses, is going to have a day. And on the last day, on January 2nd, we are celebrating the new moon, the first new moon of the year. And so I chose to honor the goddess Frigg, the mother goddess Frigg, on that new moon day. And I think it's going to work out. And then I'm going to write just a tiny little note, but I am going to add kind of like some journaling pages if I feel like I need to write a little bit more. I wrote out the kind of like the quick word summary of every single goddess. So for example, we start with Fula, who stands for abundance. This is Gefjon. She represents giving. This is Genau, which is the messenger, and then Laufen, which is permission, Sun, who is the goddess of boundaries, Vaur, who is the oath keeper. This one is Snotra, and she is the goddess of courtesy. And Sauga is the historian. This is Sjofen, and she is the goddess of affection. And Helene, who is the goddess of refuge. Huldra, which is, she's kind of like the extra handmaiden goddess. Like, she's been mentioned in the poetic Eddas, but not necessarily like you are officially a handmaiden of Frigg. So I kind of combined them together, also too because I messed up on the days. And there's only 12 days of Yule, and these were like 13. So I'm going to combine them together and honor both of them that same day. This one is Ver. Sorry. And Ver represents the seeress, and then Air, who is the goddess of healing. So I thought that was really cool. And then again, on the last day, I'm going to be honoring Frigg, which is going to be also to the new moon. It worked out so perfectly. But to make it kind of more fun, I found in this Save Freeze Craft Smart sticker book that there were days for the advent calendars, day dates. And I was like, you know what, why don't I just make it a little cuter by adding the number of the day so that I also too don't confuse myself. And I'm not going to make any advent calendars this year for sure. And if I do, then I have a double. I have a backup of this book that I can use. But I figured for each one of the days of Yule, I'm going to put one of the corresponding boxes. So like this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7, 8, 9, 10 together. 11, 12. And then on the 13th day, I mean, it makes sense, it's the 13th day, I'm going to be honoring the goddess Frigg on the new moon, January 2nd new moon. So that's what I'm about to do. Here we go. I think in the future, when I have more time, I'm going to make out half pages for every single goddess, because this really resonates with me, honoring these goddess ancestors, these handmaiden goddess ancestors. And I feel kind of bad. I'm only giving them like a little tiny blurb, but I will be traveling and I will be busy. And so I don't want to set up all these pages when I won't be using them. And I want to keep it as respectful as possible, so that I'm actually completing this devotional Yuletide offering. And again, on this day, where I'm going to be honoring Helene, and Huildra, I want to kind of combine it into one day. Okay, so I've got all of my stickers for each one of the days of Yule leading up to the 12th day of Yule, and then the 13th day will be for the goddess Frigg. Awesome. So this is a really great example of how you can still stay consistent with your devotional or for your rituals during major equinoxes and major solstice celebrations, even when you're on the go. Don't overwhelm yourself with this big, fancy, like multi-page Yule or Mabin or Ostara offering when you know you won't be able to finish it. Just do something simple like this. I'm pretty sure most of what counts are going to be the meditations and the offerings that you make for these beautiful beings that you're going to be working with. No matter how small or little bit of journaling that you're going to be doing with them, it's more important that you're doing anything at all than get overwhelmed and then quit by like day 13 or by day 5. So this is going to be my devotional to the goddess Frigg and her 12 handmaidens for Yule of 2021. I hope this has inspired you a little bit about something that you can do for your Yule practice and maybe get you back into the waves of the energies towards your craft if you've been neglecting it or if you haven't practiced your craft in a while. Get back into it. This is going to be a great time and a great decade to do it for spiritual self-care, because self-care journals are great, wellness journals are great, but sometimes it's not necessarily just the wellness aspect of it, but also to the spiritual aspect of it. If the ancestors, guides, and guardians have been calling you, pick up the phone and do a little research and use your creativity and most likely your happy planner products and your planner products in general to create a beautiful devotional that you can do realistically and complete it in time. Thank you so much for joining me, and may you have a beautiful Yule and winter solstice. Bye!